You are live.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I call this regular meeting of the Kentucky Board of Education to order. Welcome to all of our board members and to all viewing this meeting remotely. This meeting is being conducted virtually. The public may view the meeting via the link provided in the advertised agenda. Before I review announcements about conducting virtual meetings and begin today's business, I would like to call on Commissioner Fletcher to lead us in a moment of silence regarding the passing of Anthony Batchnetter, one of our students at the Kentucky School for the Blind. Commissioner?
Thank you so much, Chair Robinson. And we got a call early Monday morning concerning our student, and it is with deep sadness that we share the passing of Anthony Bretnocker, a student who attended the Kentucky School for the Blind. And as an 8th grade student, he'd been a part of the KSB family for the past 9 years. He was lovingly referred to as the mayor of KSB. He was on Greetings and Greetings Patrol, and actually there's a wonderful article that he was a part of with the playground equipment and things of that nature there at KSB. So we'll share that with the group later on. But again, his loss is deeply felt across our school community. And we do extend our heartfelt condolences to his family during this incredibly difficult time. We also hold his friends, classmates, and KSB staff close to our hearts, and we mourn together with them. I did call Principal Peggy, talk to her, again, distraught, but again, losing one of their own. His passing leaves a profound loss across our school and community. And as we move through the days ahead, we ask that you keep his family and his loved ones in your thoughts and prayers. So if you would so choose, please I ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you so much to everyone, and I'll turn it back over to Chair Robinson.
Thank you, Commissioner Fletcher. I thank you as always for the compassion, care, and support that we see you continually bring to our students, families, and friends, especially in the time of sorrow. The meeting will proceed. I have a few announcements about conducting virtual meetings. This meeting must comply with requirements of the Open Meetings Act. Therefore, the Kentucky Board of Education members participating virtually must ensure that their video is streaming and they can be seen throughout the duration of the meeting. Members, please mute your microphone when not talking. However, remember that all discussions must be broadcast to the public, so be sure that your microphone is not on mute when you speak. Every time you speak during the meeting, please unmute your mic, state your name, and take a short pause. For any items that require a vote, a roll call will be necessary to record the vote of each member. At this time, the member should state his or her name, then state, "I vote yes," or "I vote no." As a reminder, please silence or turn off other electronic devices that may cause disruption to your sound feed. I will now read the Kentucky Board of Education mission statement, which is to improve the future of all Kentucky learners by providing leadership, advocating for resources, advancing policy, and cultivating community partnerships to ensure each and every student has equitable access to high-quality, lifelong learning. And now, Dr. Jones, please call the roll.
Members, good afternoon. Please state your name and say present when your name is called. Holly Bloodworth,
Holly Bloodworth, present.
Harold McKinney,
Harold McKinney, present.
Justin Pate, Julie Pyle,
Julie Pyle, present.
Randy Poe,
Present.
Chair Sharon Porter Robinson,
Sharon Robinson, present.
Lee Todd,
Lee Todd, present now.
thank you. Steve Trimble,
Steve Trimble, present.
Vice Chair Lou Young,
Lou Young, present.
Harper Blake, Alfonso de Torres Nunez,
Alfonso de Torres Núñez, present.
Secretary Jamie Link,
Jamie Link is present.
President Aaron Thompson. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Included on today's board agenda is dedicated time for public comment. Due to the transition to a completely virtual meeting because of weather conditions, written comments were accepted via email by the close of business on February 3rd. We did receive one comment after the deadline. That comment has been forwarded to all board members for review and will be attended to. So for now, we will focus on board internal business. First item of internal board business is the summary of meetings for December 3, 2025 KBE regular meeting day 1, December 3, 2025 KBE United We Learn committee meeting, December 3, 2025 KBE State Schools Committee meeting, December 4, 2025 KBE regular meeting day 2, January 7, virtual regular meeting, and January 28, 2026 KBE Awards Committee meeting. These minutes were distributed in advance, and I ask, are there any comments or corrections regarding these minutes? Hearing none, I will ask now for a motion to approve those minutes and a second. May I have such a motion?
Steve Trimble, I make the motion.
Lou
Thank you,
Young,
Steve.
second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes just listed. All those, pardon me, Dr. Jones, please call the roll.
Thank you. Holly Bloodworth,
Aye. Yes.
Harold McKinney,
I vote yes.
Justin Pate.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll note your attendance is also recorded. Julie Pyle,
Julie Pyle, yes.
Randy Poe,
Yes.
Sharon Porter Robinson,
Sharon Robinson, yes.
Lee Todd,
Lee Todd, yes.
Steve Trimble,
Steve Trimble, yes.
and Lou Young.
Lou Young, yes.
Roll call is complete.
Thank you. Now I'll call on Julie Powell, Chair of the KBE Awards Committee, to present the next agenda item.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Samuel Robinson was a former member of the Kentucky Board of Education from 1991 to 2004, who made diversity and equity in public education his life's work. A noted educator and civil rights leader, Robinson began his career in Kentucky in Louisville in 1960. His diverse background in public education included everything from principal at Shawnee High School to president of the Lincoln Foundation. Robinson also was a well-known community figure as Louisville's navigated the civil rights era. Each year, the Kentucky Board of Education grants the Robinson Award for Diversity and Equity in Public Education to a Kentuckian or a Kentucky organization demonstrating extraordinary efforts and contributions in the area of educational diversity and equity. The criteria for receiving this award includes, but is not limited to, successful efforts in closing socioeconomic and racial achievement gaps and significantly improving student learning, student achievement, or other measured outcomes among students of color or economically disadvantaged students. On behalf of the awards committee, I would like to share that the committee met Wednesday, January 28th, and determined that candidate 3 and candidate 5 best met the criteria of the award. Therefore, I would like to move approval of candidate 3 and candidate 5 as the recipient of the 2026 Robinson Award for Diversity and Equity in Public Education, and ask the chair for the board's approval to recognize candidate 3 and candidate 5 at the board's April regular meeting.
Thank you so much, Julie. This motion comes from the committee and therefore does not require a second. Is there any discussion regarding the the committee's recommendation? If not, then I would ask the board to consider a motion to approve candidate 3 and candidate 5 as the recipients of the 2026 Robinson Award for Diversity and Equity in Public Education. Dr. Jones, please call the roll.
Holly Bloodworth,
Here. Yes.
Harold McKinney,
Harold McKinney votes yes.
Justin Pate,
Yes, ma'am.
Julie Pyle,
Julie Pyle, yes.
Randy Poe, Randy Poe.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Sharon Robinson,
Sharon Robinson, yes.
Lee Todd,
Lee Todd, yes.
Steve Trimble,
Steve Trimble, yes.
Lou Young.
Lou Young, yes.
Roll call is complete.
Thank you. Motion carries. As a reminder, our next item, which does require a vote, consists of the consent agenda and allows for approval of all items on the consent agenda in one action. The consent agenda was distributed to members in advance of the meeting to allow sufficient time for review. The KBE staff identified these items as those that are non-controversial and routine in nature. At this time, does any member wish to have any consent agenda item moved to the regular discussion action item? I then will ask the board to entertain a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda. May I have such a motion?
Harold
Holly.
McKinney, I move such a motion.
Holly Bloodworth, second.
Thank you. I will now call the question by asking Dr. Jones to again call the roll.
Holly Bloodworth,
Yes.
Harold McKinney,
Harold McKinney votes yes.
Justin Pate,
Yes, ma'am.
Julie Pyle,
Julie Pyle, yes.
Randy Poe,
Yes.
Sharon Robinson,
Sharon Robinson, yes.
Lee Todd,
Lee Todd, yes.
Steve Trimble,
Steve Trimble, yes.
Lou Young.
Lou Young, yes.
Roll call is complete.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. Now I'll call on board members who were invited to share much needed good news. Would you start?
Go to the next. I'm still trying to pull up my particular page, or if you can move to that page.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
sure. I'll come back to you. Justin, Dr. Pate, can we talk about the alternative education program of distinction programs that were named?
Yes, ma'am. The Kentucky Department of Education announced the selection of several alternative education programs across the Commonwealth as 2025 programs of distinction. These programs have demonstrated exceptional commitment to student success through innovative and effective practices, personalized learning, and strong community partnerships. Each program underwent a rigorous review process, including site visits, data analysis, and stakeholder interviews. Selected programs will receive a monetary award from the Kentucky Department of Education for instructional support and will serve as models for other districts seeking to strengthen their alternative education offerings. Alternative education plays a vital role in ensuring every student in Kentucky has access to a meaningful and supportive learning experience. These programs of distinction exemplify what's possible when educators are empowered to meet students where they are and help them reach their full potential.
Thanks so much. This is an important dimension of the rich educational opportunities that we are providing. Let's go to Holly to talk about 3 Kentucky educators honored as a part of 2025 Kentucky Exemplary Educators Program.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about 3 educators have been honored as 2025 Kentucky Exemplary Educators Program Award winners. Another name for that is KEEP by the Kentucky Department of Education. The 3 KEEP recipients are Robin Ballinger, a special education teacher at Chenoweth Elementary School in Jefferson County; Charlotte Holtzclaw, a science teacher at Robert B. Turner Elementary School in Anderson County; and Mark Webster, a principal at Bluegrass Middle School in Hardin County. Candidates for KEEP are early to mid-career professionals with at least 5 years of experience and whose contributions to education are largely unheralded yet worthy of the spotlight. Candidates serve in certified teacher, specialist, or principal roles in Kentucky public schools. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Holly. Now I'll go to Steve to talk about our youth delegates to the U.S. Senate.
Yes, Patrick Rabovi and Ethan Morgan were named the 2026 U.S. Senate Youth Delegates. Patrick, a senior at North Oldham High School in Oldham County, and Ethan, a senior at Marshall County High School, will join Senator Mitch McConnell and Senator Rand Paul in representing Kentucky during the 64th Annual U.S. Senate Youth Program Washington Week to be held March 7th through the 14th. Rabovi and Morgan were selected from among the state's top student leaders to be a part of the 104 student delegation that will attend meetings and briefings with the senators, the president, a justice of the Supreme Court, leaders of cabinet agencies, and other officials throughout the week. Each delegate will also receive a $10,000 college scholarship for undergraduate study. Chosen as alternates to the 2026 program was Aisha Hamid, who attends Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School in Fayette County, and Joel Shalom, who attends DuPont Manual High School in Jefferson County. So congratulations to these students.
Congratulations indeed. Dr. Todd, you're going to talk about the Special Education Teacher of the Year. Dr. Todd, are you muted?
I was just talking real low. I was muted, thank you. I'm proud to announce that the KDE's Office of Special Education and Early Learning in collaboration with the Kentucky Council for Exceptional Children, has recognized Jessica Ewart of Meade County as the 2025 Special Education Teacher of the Year. The Teacher of the Year Award celebrates special educators who go above and beyond in providing direct services to children and youth with exceptionalities, demonstrating excellence in supporting students with disabilities. Ewart is an outstanding special education teacher recognized for her deep commitment to both students inside and outside of the classroom. She initiated a community-based instruction program for diploma-track special education students, helping them gain real-world experience. Each year, she organizes a field trip to the Carl D. Perkins Vocational Center to expose children to the college life and to the available resources. Beyond the school year, Ewart runs Camp TESSA, which stands for Teaching Effective Social Skills to Students with Autism, a summer program, and serves as a court-appointed special advocate for those in her area. As an exceptional math co-teacher, she is praised by colleagues and administrators for her strong connection with students and her dedication to her success inside and outside of the classroom. Quite a special recognition for this young lady.
Thank you very much. That is special indeed. Dr. Poe is going to bring us good news about a Kentucky teacher honored with this year's Milken Award.
Yes, thank you. And I apologize for my computer screen going here blank. But we're back at it. Taylor County's special teacher, Sydney Newton, an English language arts teacher at Taylor County High School, was honored December 16th as the latest Kentucky educator to receive the Macmillan Family Foundation National Educator Award. Newton was presented with this award, which includes a $25,000 unrestricted cash prize and a surprise ceremony at her school that included students, faculty, and district and community leaders. The prestigious award, hailed as the Oscars of Teaching, was presented by the Kentucky Commissioner of Education, Robbie Floucher, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, and the Macmillan Educator Awards Senior Vice President Jane Foley. Newton has taken several leadership positions at the school, including roles as a new teacher mentor, the school's non-traditional instructional lead as a school-based decision-making council member, among other several roles. Newton has been praised for her ability to connect with students and the Taylor County community. She's part of the security team that greets students every day, and she either serves or has served as the Beta Club sponsor, a digital learning coach, and the yearbook advisor. Honorees from the 25-26 school year will attend all expenses paid Macmillan Educator Awards Forum in Washington, D.C. from June 12th through the 14th this year. Congratulations. What an excellent example of a quality teacher that we have here in Kentucky.
Wow. I just love the look of surprise, but it is truly a much deserved honor, and we thank you for sharing that with us. The good news is designed to give us inspiration and energy to tackle the awesome work that we are honored to take up through our role as the Kentucky Board of Education. As per our board policy, the agenda for each regular meeting shall include an item under which board members may raise issues not included on the agenda for the purposes of clarification, referral to a committee, or scheduling for future board review and/or action, if that would be the consensus of the board. At this time, we have several members who are ready to bring some sharing to us. Julie, you're going to report on the KBE Whole Child, Whole Community, Whole Child Subcommittee.
Yes, so the committee met yesterday afternoon. And it was actually quite packed agenda, some great sharing, some highlights from that. In Fayette County, and I really started smiling as they were talking about this particular project. It's called a TPL project, where they're looking at community use of playgrounds. And what's cool about this is that they're starting to engage students in vibrant learning experiences doing this. So they're engage the STEAM Academy to use data to help determine which schools would be good candidates for this project. And then they're going to be working with Bryan Station and Clay High School and researching and recommending policy. So they're pulling, this is what our vibrant learning experiences are all about, practical applications of what our students are learning. So I love that. It was also mentioned that Nicole Shepard of Fern Creek High School is a SHAPE SHAPE Teacher of the Year for the Southern District. So not just for Kentucky, for a larger area. We revisited the goals for the committee. One of our goals is to create a member directory so that it's easier to share the information among the vast number of members of the group, because as we all know, there's so many resources in our state, and creating the awareness so that way we can all take advantages of those resources. The other goal of the committee is to look at expanding the subcommittee to make sure that we have all voices at the table. We highlighted, so we had the Living Well program initiative for all of our Kentucky employees just on district, state level. And they highlighted a number of programs within that that many people are not aware of. So like the Smart Shopper service, where you can shop around for your surgeries and actually get money back based on how much you save on your procedures. So some people have even seen $500 checks because they've used this tool for shopping for procedures. Carum Health, which is surgery and cancer care, which is completely free. I was amazed by that. And then the other Living Well, which the incentive programs, which many people are familiar with. They're doing webinars, trying to figure out ways to create more awareness for all the benefits of the program. I'm trying to think what else here. They did another thing that was good that they shared was the graphic of the importance of school nurses and the data impact of school nurses on the care that they provide to students that they may not receive otherwise. And that there is a podcast called Nourish Kentucky, which is a school and community nutrition podcast. So that's the report from that committee. And then I have one other thing to talk about. So I had the pleasure of going down to Adair County to attend their senior defensive learnings. And it was a highlight for me. And what it really highlighted for me was the impact of the portrait of learner and how that helps the schools, the teachers, and the students with creating the vibrant learning experiences. Like the connection for me was really made in that. The other thing that was really cool with that was another district next to them who had not even started any kind of defenses of learning came over and served as community members on Adair County's panels because they wanted to learn how Adair was doing it to be able to help them get started. So I love the sharing and the exchanges that were happening in the rooms. And it just was a very cool experience. It just keeps expanding upon what Dr. Commissioner Flesher is talking about, how our school districts are all working together. It's not territorial. It's like we want to make everything better for all of our students, and we're learning from each other. Unfortunately, I have not gotten to go to the Boone County ATC. It has been canceled twice so far because of weather. So we're still working on rescheduling that.
Thank you, Julie. It's good to hear of all of your adventures out there and sharing and bringing back to the board your the evidence that you're seeing of the vibrant learning experiences and the degree to which our colleagues are working together and communities are working together to advance this form of education reform that I call truly, truly authentic reform, because it's changing the actual learning experience for our kids. I'm going to report to you that Harper plans to join us tomorrow. She is at an academic competition that had been rescheduled due to weather several times. So she's not with us today, but we look forward to seeing her tomorrow. Dr. Young, you want to bring us an update on the Cool Council winter convening.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. We met on Friday, the 23rd, just before the snow came in that evening at the Sauer Building in Frankfurt. We had more than 80 people in attendance. Several new members of the Kentucky United We Learn Council were in attendance. It was a really vibrant day. And we talked a lot about House Bill 257 and how a lot of our work is coming to fruition, how much we appreciate Dr. Fletcher, Dr. Perry, and the team at KDE for carrying the water to the General Assembly on our behalf. We got a lot of candid feedback about where we are. Really appreciated the commissioner's comments that while we may not have completely accomplished our moonshot, we are definitely orbiting the moon. I saw that Artemis 2 was postponed this morning, and sometimes those things happen in fits and starts if we continue to draw on that moonshot metaphor. We also, Dr. Pate, I had the opportunity to talk about High School Transformation Network as the next iteration of the work of the Kentucky United We Learn Council. A lot of really robust discussion about where we are in the state of the Kentucky high school experience. And so I'll be bringing that information to the High School Transformation Network team as well. But thank you for that opportunity, and really, really proud of the continued commitment on behalf of all Kentucky learners by those members of the Kentucky United We Learn Council. So thank you. And Dr. Robinson, if I may, I'm going to be forwarding an email to all the board members from Bree Massey with Kentucky Educators Rising, but she's asked us if we're able to join them for their conference on March 5th. And especially to come to the awards ceremony that afternoon. And I've got that on my calendar. It's going to be in Louisville at the Expo Center. I think we'll see hundreds of Kentucky future educators doing their best work that day. I had a chance, I was accepted to present a proposal on behalf of the board that morning on Kentucky's portrait of a learner and what that means for new teachers to the profession. So be on the lookout for that email. Thank you. And I see Dr. Poe's hand is up.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. I want to go next to Dr. Pate to talk about the high school transition work group meeting that was held at, Elkhorn Crossing, and bring us up to date on that, just to kind of keep in the vein of United We Learn and vibrant learning. Those are themes that we seem to have fully embraced.
Yes, ma'am. I think a lot of people have embraced that. And, the best thing about the transformation network, that we're working on is bringing others into the understanding of that mission and the understanding of all of the tools and policy changes, regulations, all the things available. So the Elkhorn Crossing meeting has been set and scheduled. It actually occurs at the end of February, but we did have our planning meeting. That may have been what you were thinking about, Chair Robinson. Yeah. The planning meeting for that second High School Transformation Network team meeting has occurred, and we've got a solid agenda. We'll have some student speakers and continuing on with kind of that innovation guide and going through it. And just as a reminder to the group, really the mission of this team is to identify barriers that exist to these innovations for school districts, to kind of create a list of the most important best practice that we can share amongst districts, and then to ultimately see, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce or the legislature, CPE, whoever it is, are there policy recommendations that we need to suggest that maybe we as a board even would need to look at to help guide this innovation. So, Chair Robinson, that's really where we stand right now, and we'll have we'll have a little bit more to report after this second meeting.
Well, we certainly look forward to that. The whole idea is Kentucky has a rich repertoire of exciting things going on, and how do we make it possible and accessible to more and more students as their high school experience, so that they're ready to make those important transition decisions and life decisions and further subsequent education experiences. Thank you so much for your work and all of those who are working with you on that further development of the whole concept of Kentucky United We Learn, because these are all of our students. I do have on the list Alfonso to bring a item to the board for sharing.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. More than share, it's just like asking for clarification and just to be completely transparent. I sent this question to Dr. Jones, hopefully for a follow-up, but I thought that this was probably important to share with you all, board members, so that at least you would know what is it that I want to ask about, and that pertains to the work that we have been doing recently. I, as a teacher member, although I don't have a vote, I try to stay in touch as much as I can with teachers on the field, hoping to bring to these meetings the voices precisely of the people who are working in the field, right, and that impacted by our decisions at the local level. I haven't been able to wrap my mind about one of the items that we approved recently, and that because of that, as a teacher, I have been able to hear a lot of people asking questions about this. I believe that we as board members, we have received information from the Office of Special Education about this. But at the same time, I still wanted to bring this to your attention because, once again, as the teacher member of this board, I think it's important to hear this question as to how much our business can also impact in the daily lives of those who are already moving forward with and taking care of all of our students in Kentucky Public Schools. So the question I wanted to bring is that in regard to those regulations that we have approved recently about the special education caseloads and class sizes, I have heard a lot of teachers asking, why was not I told anything about this? Why was not I consulted on this? Has there been any protocol or any survey or anything that has been put out there for us to express our opinions and give our feedback on special education caseloads and class sizes? So that's my question, as in, have special education teachers been reached out for this? If so, how many and who? And if not, I cannot help but think, like, why are there analyses on things like, for example, financial impact? But and maybe it's my problem, I haven't been able to see one specific analysis on how those regulations will impact on the daily operations of the teachers, not the school districts, the teachers who are the ones who are having these students in their classrooms. So that's all that. As before, I just wanted to be transparent, put the question out there. If you want to talk about that, it's fine on me. I have already reached out to Dr. Jones, hopefully to get some information about this. But that's it. I hope I was clear on what I said. If not, I'm happy to clarify.
Well, Alfonso, I appreciate your question, and I think that there is both additional information and support for your being able to share that information that we can provide, particularly in Jefferson County during this time of substantial change due to fiscal conditions and circumstances that have to be addressed. So please note that we will be, I'll ask Dr. Jones to arrange the time for further discussion, and we will certainly bring back to the board any additional clarification that might be required. The regulations the waivers that were approved because they met both a technical screen and a substantive review by the staff. But they were requested by the local school district. So thank you for that question. And we will talk further. Dr. Poe?
At the same time, Chair Robinson, I have to say that once again, hoping to fulfill my role at the board, I have also reached out with several groups of early childhood teachers that in reviewing the regulations also that were updated regarding early childhood that I believe we have in our agenda. I have heard lots of praise for the people that have been behind those updates. So at the same time that I have that question, also my kudos to the members of the Office of Special Education for the hard work that they put in every day. The only question that I have about that is why mentions to bilingual programs were deleted. But that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Poe?
Yeah, Chair Robinson, as you were alluding to at the top of the hour there when we started about snow day calls. So I was planning on going with Julie to the ATC, but that one got snowed out. But in Northern Kentucky, we had another school district that was in operation, which was Ludlow Independent. And so I shifted down and I went to Ludlow Independent and saw great examples of vibrant learning going on at Ludlow Elementary and high school. They're on the same campus there together. But what was really nice to see there, and this is one of the things that I hope the state continues to do, is it was a great example of vibrant learning with facility design. A lot of activities could not have taken place, let's say last year or the year prior, before they were able to upgrade their facilities to incorporate vibrant learning. So it's a great example of how not only learning but operations fall in the same place. So I did want to give a shout out to Superintendent Jason Steffen for doing that. And they are a district that's defying, the odds. They're not a very wealthy district. They have revenue challenges and poverty challenges, and then it's created like a private little, university there of kids going on from post-secondary and getting dual credits. So a lot of great work. So I want to give him a shout out for hosting me yesterday.
It sounds like you had a very fulfilling experience, quite worth getting out in the whatever the weather.
That's right. Well, see, that's the thing. Different parts of the same region. One part of the region 5 miles away got 5 inches of snow, and the others didn't get a thing. Just in the same right little corridor.
Wow. Well, I don't see any other hands. I'm going to close out the board sharing by reporting to you that at our last meeting, I raised several questions regarding the regulatory support and boundaries of our site-based management groups. And I got a chance to kind of go to school, thanks to Dr. Foster and her staff. And I will ask them to share the material that I had a chance to review for your further reference regarding how over the course of time, I feel that Kentucky has done an amazing job of supporting very focused and intentional work with our site-based management groups all across the state. And we have the resources necessary to provide further support upon their request. And of course, some is required by our regulation. But I was just quite impressed by the degree to which we have supported site-based management councils and help them stay focused on their students, their community, and their advocacy on behalf of those students. And so I want to thank the staff at KBE for helping me go to school on site-based management councils. And I wanted to share with you that I feel we've done just an excellent job of making sure that something that was a good idea about 25 years ago remains a good idea because it's actually working and we know how to support their further development. So thank you, colleagues, for sharing. And it's certainly an indication that we're working at the table and away from the table, but always on behalf of our students. At this time, it is time for us to dismiss to our committees. We're scheduled to reconvene as a full board at 2:30. The United We Learn Committee will remain in this virtual meeting room. And so you just need to remain on this call. The KBE State Schools Committee will meet in a separate Microsoft Teams link that was sent to the committee. And we will begin our committee meetings at this point. Thank you.
Flip to Sand, is it possible to put that link in the chat to make it easier for the state schools folks? Chat may be disabled, I don't know.
I believe the chat is disabled, but.
Right. Well, I call the meeting of the United We Learn Teaching Learning Committee to order. I'll do the roll call, so please respond. Holly Bloodworth here. Justin Pate.
Here.
Julie Pyle.
Julie Pyle, present.
Lee Todd.
Lee Todd here.
Lou Young.
Lou Young here.
Harper Blake. And Aaron Thompson. All right. Well, we're excited to be learning today about the We Lead Computer Science report and the update on computer science. So we have the We Lead Computer Science Chief Executive Officer, Alicia Sells. She's the KDE. We also have the KDE Chief Academic Officer, Mickey Ray Marinelli, and the KDE K-12 Computer Science Lead, Sean Jackson, to present the update. So I will turn it over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Chair and members of the board. I feel especially honored. This is the first ever We Lead Computer Science report that we're able to bring forward today. And this school is providing just exciting work-based learning that's supporting the development not only of computer sciences, but career exploration in terms of technology. And so just excited to have Alicia Sells. As mentioned, she is the Chief Executive Officer. And she has built out just the most recent data. And this presentation captures a lot of their efforts and work from 2024, 2025. And then, as noted, Dr. Sean Jackson will be with us at the end of that presentation to give you more of a statewide perspective on what's happening around computer science education in Kentucky. So, Alicia, I will turn it over to you.
Hello, thank you so much, Madam Chair and members of the board and other folks who are on the call. It's good to see some old friends and faces today, and I'm honored to be here. First of all, I just want to thank you for letting me reschedule. I had the flu when I was supposed to see you back in December, and so I really greatly appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. So if I understand, I'm to prompt verbally for advancing the slides. So I'd like to ask if we could go back to the first slide and show the video that I have to share with you.
We have one student in particular. We kept looking for opportunities for him, and it just wasn't happening. But he's found his place now. He's actually doing a paid internship through Procter & Gamble. And in Louisa, Kentucky, that wasn't possible before this.
I learned about We Lead CS from my school. They helped me get job opportunities and this internship, and I just really have liked this.
Ryder, we first met through a program called Jumpstart. So we worked with Alicia and her team to identify a couple of candidates, and Ryder was there. He was asking questions, he was diligent, he was respectful. He was coming in with good ideas, right? Sometimes we put the students into smaller groups, right? He was collaborating in these groups. So he was showing us all the base things that we want to someone who we think will then take advantage of the summer experience.
Whenever I was little, I got locked out of my iPad and stuff, and I didn't know what to do, but then I just started getting into the software system, and then I hacked my way back into it.
The fact that we have so many young students coming in talking about, I was building my own PC, or I took my dad's computer and deconstructed it and all of that. These are stories we hear a lot, so it's very much in line with the type of person we're looking to hire, right? Someone who is curious, right? Someone who wants to test the limits of their knowledge and understand how things work together.
It's been great. I made a lot of friends while I'm here. I just love technology and stuff, and I hope that one day I can become like cybersecurity or something to help people if they get locked out or something, or like just protecting like a firewall or something. So you got to be a hacker to stop the hacker. I like We Lead CS because I like to learn virtual. I'm at home and stuff, and that also just gives me confidence because it's in my area, and I just like to be close to my friends and family.
We're thrilled that kids can find the things that they want to do, because that's what teaching and learning is all about, is finding your place in the world.
I just knew I was going to be good and stuff at what I was doing. It was just something I signed up for, and I'm glad that I did.
So I will point out that the person who managed that hacking is Commissioner Fletcher. So when I showed him this video, he got a kick out of that. Ryder has indeed found his place. And if we could advance to the next slide, I'll tell you how this all came to be. So we started in 2000 at iLead Academy trying to figure out how we expand our own students' access to computer science education. None of the 5 districts that send students to iLead had a computer science program. And iLead is a very different learning environment. It's not for every student. And so we proposed to the U.S. Department of Education in their Rural Tech project that we have our teacher teach virtually. It was before COVID, so I don't know what we were thinking or how we thought we would do that, but that was our proposal, and they named that idea one of the 5 most innovative ideas in the country to expand rural students' access to computer science education. We had several members of the General Assembly on our advisory board, and Dr. Jackson, who is on the call with us today. And in 2022, the General Assembly passed legislation establishing We Lead CS as Kentucky's statewide virtual computer science career academy. And the call was for us to increase Kentucky's competitiveness in the technology and employment in computing employment sectors, which is now every sector of the economy, expand access for students, and prepare students for tech careers. If we could advance to the next slide, please. So you heard what Katie from Lawrence County had to say. We have had students in We Lead CS now for 2 years. We're entering our 2nd year. The General Assembly appropriated $3 million for us to carry out the mission that they set forward for us in the statute in this last legislative session. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today based on our statutory requirement to report to the state board and to the General Assembly on our progress. So these are just a few quotes that I won't read for you, but you can just read for yourself. We are bringing new opportunities to students in districts across the state. And districts are responding very well to that, which you'll see from our growth. If we could advance to the next slide, please. So these are our current partners that we're teaching during this school year. We have already added 10 new partners for the next school year. So we are growing again very rapidly. We grew very quickly. If we could advance to the next slide, please. In 2024, we had 68 students in 5 schools. In 25-26, this current school year, we have 220 students in 26 schools. 2 of those schools are middle schools. So we have students enrolled in dual credit. In 24-25, there were 59. Those students earned 190 hours of college credit or 59 course credits. We had an 87% pass rate on the computer programming and program assessments that they took. These data points are, by the way, established in statute for We Lead CS of things that we must track throughout the year and report to both you and to the General Assembly. If we could advance to the next slide, please. We really feel our secret sauce is work-based learning and interaction with employers. We are able to do some incredibly exciting things to connect students with employers in a virtual environment. So we focus very, very diligently on industry certifications, as that relates back, of course, to assessment and accountability for districts and students. We had in our first year 26 industry certifications earned. Collaborating with Dr. Jackson and his team and their industry certification program is a critically important part of what we do. Every student had 2 opportunities to job shadow virtually, and that involves employers coming on and showing students what they do and talking about what they do so they can explore careers. Every student had a mock job interview experience, a prep workshop, and interviews, and got one-to-one feedback. And then we also offer opportunities for student organizations, particularly through the technology student organization or association, which is aligned to the CTE computer science pathways. If we could expand or extend to the next one. Thank you. One of the things that we've learned from employers is we talk to them about how students are the most qualified applicants in the entry-level tech workforce pipeline, is that students need to know how to collaborate with one another in GitHub on code. When they first talked to me about that, I had to Google GitHub, so don't feel bad if you don't know what that is. I think LinkedIn for coders, that's how they collaborate on Git and coding projects. We also focus on project management, and that is a very critical skill in terms of Agile project management, Scrum development that employers want to see on applicants' resume. We provide college and career coaching, and then the students also have an opportunity in our dual credit classes to get feedback from employers on their challenge defense projects. Speaking of vibrant learning opportunities and United We Learn. If we could advance to the next slide, please. Students in our program can earn up to 23 hours of college credit. We have 2 paid virtual internship programs through We Lead CS, Jumpstart 1.0 and Jumpstart 2.0. 1.0 is for our entry-level students who've just started with the program. They can work, they get paid $15 an hour for 6 hours a week during the summer to begin their work-based learning and career exploration experience. We have 30 students right now from all over the state in Jumpstart 2.0, and we're focusing in much more closely with those students on preparation to apply for virtual internships, like Ryder described, as we work with our employer advisory board to expand those opportunities. So we're working to do whatever we can to make students competitive in the workforce. We could advance to the next slide, please. As I mentioned, we have an employer advisory board. That board just met last week. As a matter of fact, we're working on profiles of the most qualified applicants in our 5 pathways. And then we also have been working with 3 chambers of commerce, Allen County Commerce Lexington in Northern Kentucky, as part of a microgrant program we did in our first year, asking those chambers to identify for us who among their membership is hiring tech talent, what skills they need, and putting those employers in contact with our students through those programs that I just explained to you. If you could advance to the next slide, please. So in the next year, and my colleague, Dr. Kelly Ransdell, is on the call, I believe, with me. I can't see her on here, but Dr. Ransdell just joined us as We Lead CS's Chief Operating Officer, and her first task was to develop our master schedule and pathway overview for next year. So you can go to weleadcs.org on our scheduling page and see all of the things that we'll offer. Next year, we'll have a cybersecurity pathway, a data science pathway. We'll offer an intro to artificial intelligence course. We're offering network security, network administration. And so we'll have 5 pathways with 11 unique computer science courses. So as you start to look at that work, you can really see that we are carrying out that mission the General Assembly set forth for us to expand access, because there are a lot of students in these small rural districts that would not have access to these courses otherwise. We also work with districts if they say have AP computer science principles, how those students might have additional opportunities to carry forward and continue their studies. So we are doing all that we can to expand those opportunities and make all of our pathways are aligned with the KDE, OCTE pathway plans and the industry certs and dual credit. If we could advance to the next slide, please. So in 24-25, we're operating a $3 million appropriation from the General Assembly. We did request $5 million in this next cycle. I don't know that we'll actually need $5 million to operate it. A lot of what we're doing right now is working on scheduling and adding districts. And I'm in constant communication with the General Assembly about what that looks like. The House has included $3 million in the budget as a placeholder, with the understanding that I'm to report back to them in March to tell them what our staffing needs are for the next year. So it will be somewhere between, I would say, $3 and $4 million. It would be our next appropriation. If we could advance to the next slide. Okay, so that's gives you just an overview of our program. It has been such a pleasure to work with Mickey and her team, and Marty Park and the folks at OET, and Dr. Sean Jackson has been such a great advocate of this as we talk constantly about how we can continue to expand opportunities, and we also work closely with OCTE. So we're happy to provide any additional information that you might like to have about student progress, student opinions about what it's like to learn virtually. In this world, we survey the students several times throughout the year, and you can find a lot more information about us on our website. So that's my presentation for today, if Dr. Jackson wants to add to that.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how We Lead CS is filling in the gaps for computer science learning in the state of Kentucky. We've had a lot of districts provide foundational learning in computer science for many years, but proofing out and making sure that a pathway exists in those school districts, that's the secret sauce. That's what We Lead CS is really trying to do. Is if you don't have anything, We Lead CS can help you. If you need to fill out and finish a pathway, We Lead CS can also help you. So it's a key part of the overall strategy for computer science in Kentucky. And I'll just say that the story of computer science in Kentucky continues to have some success. When compared to a national conversation, Kentucky is 15% above the national average in high schools offering computer science. You know, we need to capitalize on that. Can we do better? Of course we can. We can always get better. We know we can always improve. But I think it was in that video, it really was crucial to focus on the word curiosity. That's the key to educating and engaging students in all types of vibrant learning experiences. And we really find that curiosity in computer science courses where students are like, I don't know what I don't know about computer science. And then you start to educate them and move them along through the process. And that mission to provide that curiosity, that love of learning, that mission is supported by our Office of Teaching and Learning, our Office of Career and Technical Education, and of course our Office of Education Technology. The CSIT Academy, funded by OET, provides relevant computer science industry certifications, AP exams, and professional learning to all schools in Kentucky. Just engage with us. We can figure out what we can do to help you along your computer science journey or see where we can start. And I would just like to highlight, I know Alicia mentioned middle school computer science. That is our highest enrollment course in the state of Kentucky right now. Our middle school computer science, excuse me, middle school computer science course code last year had 4,800 students enrolled. That's really, really awesome because that shows that our high schools are interested in providing that pipeline approach to make sure that students enter high school with a good run and go to engage in these dual credit courses or AP courses with that foundational knowledge that we're talking about. And another point of success that I would like to point out is kind of the innovative approach that Kentucky has taken. Unlike other states, we've taken the approach with our certifications for computer science for the approval for teaching computer science course code. So that code allows any teacher with any base certification to engage and teach computer science. And currently, or as of last year, 104 teachers in the state of Kentucky used that mechanism to teach computer science to our students. And so that flexibility, that innovative thinking, and outside the box thinking, it's something that we do a lot in the state of Kentucky when it comes to education to try to improve the outcomes for our students, because that's the only reason that we're here, is make sure that students have, for lack of a better, phrase, a good run and go at life. And it doesn't matter if they're going to continue on into the collegiate realm or go straight into an industry. Foundational knowledge is key to making sure that those students have that chance and that opportunity to engage in high quality learning and productive thinking when it comes to computer science. And so I'll just open it for questions. I know there's a lot of questions probably involving how is artificial intelligence going to be involved? How are we going to make sure that our students are still learning relevant information? But really appreciate We Lead CS's leadership in this space and advocacy.
Yes,
I see hands up. Commissioner, is that you?
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you, Chair Bloodworth, too. Just a couple of comments. My first comment is I'm a firm believer that every single kid has a talent or a gift. And it's a matter of finding the opportunity for that child to have that talent displayed, to have that gift displayed. And Ryder is a perfect example of this. Ryder is someone that has a gift when it comes to this, and he works hard and he does a lot of good work. And matter of fact, had the opportunity to do the internship with Procter and Gamble. And then the other comment that I have is, We Lead CS and is an example of how we need to provide opportunities for everyone. This is an opportunity that wouldn't have happened in Lawrence County. I think there were just a few number of students, maybe 3 or 4 students when it started, went into 13. Now I think up to around 25 students that are part of a pathway that would not have had the opportunity without that. I like to applaud Superintendent Webb for continuing the work here, and two, just expanding the program. She is a great champion for that. So again, I can't tell you how it warms my heart to see Ryder as a part of this. Just knowing his background and what he's done and where he's been.
Yeah, and he's continued this year to just be such a remarkable student. And Superintendent Webb and I talk about that a lot. There's, Ryder is one of those kids where they were really struggling, and this, Commissioner, to find a place for him. And so one of the things I didn't mention in my presentation that I'll add is that districts pay a per student seat fee to have students enrolled in We Lead CS. So it's $500 per student for a year-long course, $250 per student for a semester-based course. We offer multiple discounts for early action to help reduce that cost for districts. But one of the things that we've learned from the many small rural districts that we have involved is there is no barrier for enrollment in terms of having to enroll a specific number. So a couple of our districts, Hancock County is a great example, has one student. They had a student interested, and they wanted to provide that opportunity for the student. And we do make that possible. And I think that's such an important part of the model that we have, is that the General Assembly subsidizes that. In our work with the department to create We Lead CS, there was a pretty strong feeling that districts have some skin in the game, some investment in the program. Just had a conversation with Senator Givens today about, as federal funding has dried up for districts or has been taken away from districts, we're finding that to be a little bit of a barrier threshold. And so we want to make sure that we keep talking with the General Assembly about that as we plan for moving forward in ways that we might be able to address that and help districts overcome it. It's become more of a question from districts now than it was 2 years ago when we started. And so that's something we're very mindful of. But small rural districts have been so welcoming of the opportunity to add up to 5 career pathways for their students without having to hire a teacher to do that, and to staff the program and to equip it. So that has really been an important part of why I think we've grown as much as we have in terms of the number of districts that we have interested in participating. Is it really is an important thing for small districts to be able to provide something that they would not have otherwise been able to provide.
No, I think that's very well said. And I just like to tack on, I'm a huge proponent, because I saw it in my own computer science classroom, of the students who need to find a place in the school community. And I think that's something that computer science offers. All of our career and technical education programs offer that. And when you look at some of the demographic information around our enrollment in computer science, 54% of our students in computer science last year were identified as economically disadvantaged, and 12% were students with some sort of identified IEP. And so I think those are really strong numbers compared to the statewide averages. I think we have 13% of our students statewide have an IEP of some type. And so finding their place in that school community goes a long way to ensuring that future success. And another thing that I'll say that We Lead CS does a great job of is that interaction with the industry community, making sure that students can see themselves doing those same types of jobs that they're learning about. They can put themselves in an internship type situation, or into some type of job shadowing situation, so that they can see themselves, hey, I could do this job. And so that confidence and that success, and being a virtual provider of this program, that just also speaks to the strength and reliability of our KETS network that we provide to all school districts, because the students have that opportunity to be in a school with high quality connectivity, that they can make sure that they engage with dual credit providers, or with the teachers at We Lead CS, to make sure that they can engage in this curriculum effectively.
Hey, Dr. Todd put his hand up, and then Ms. Powell.
Yeah, just a question. Where's your instruction come from? Are they classroom teachers? Are they employees of yours that teach? And then also, how does this fit into a student's everyday class? Do they meet after class or do they meet in summertime? I don't get that.
All right. So the teachers are employees of We Lead CS. They're all Kentucky certified teachers. They're all in Kentucky. They're all over Kentucky. So we currently have 8 different folks who are teaching in this school year. And we have worked with KCTCS to make sure that the teachers that teach dual credit are approved in each of the individual colleges where we teach dual credit. In terms of their schedule, We Lead CS comes in as one of the parts of their class day. So if the student has 6 classes a day, we're one of those 6, and they go to the library or the media center, wherever the school district can find a space for them in order to have instruction during the day. And so it is integrated into their school program. And it is a class for them in their school day, just like any other class that they take.
Dr. Todd, that picture just happens to be in the library of Lawrence County High School there that you see. So very familiar area there.
Yeah. So we try to go on now. It's getting more challenging as we get bigger, but we also go on site to do recruitment and activities with students. So I'm sure that's what Sarah is doing here as a part of that. But it is integrated into their school day. So essentially that per student seat fee is a fee for us to teach their student. And each district enters into a contract with us on an annual basis for us to provide instruction to their students. We've worked with the department. Our grading is in Infinite Campus, so we're integrated into that as best we can be. And then we also work with the districts to report all of the measures on college or post-secondary readiness that track back to their assessment. So one of the things that we learned about at iLead is it is difficult to get educators to think about students leaving the building and going somewhere else and leaving their home high school for whatever reason. These students don't go anywhere. They just stay there in their home high school, and this is just a regular part of their day. They also have access to the teachers for tutoring and coaching support. That's a big question that comes from us from districts is, do they have to have a subject matter expert to support the students? And they do not.
Thank you. I think it's a wonderful way to reach out to some communities that can't afford to have a computer science teacher on campus for sure. So
yes,
good job.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Ms. Powell?
Yeah, excellent. I agree with Dr. Todd. I mean, to be able to have students have access to something they wouldn't normally have had. And we know kids have interest in this pathway. So I had 2 questions. One, do you have any data as far as kids transferring to post-secondary and their success? Are they staying enrolled? And then the second one is support for ELL students. What kind of support do you have?
Yes, ma'am. So we've only had 1 year of students and just a small handful who were seniors who matriculated into post-secondary education. But I'm happy to share the data on those students. I think there were 5, and they did all pursue post-secondary education and were pursuing computer science degrees, one an engineering degree. I don't know that we've done a mid-year check on them, but that's something we certainly can do, and I'm happy to provide that data. So that's a huge part of what we do in terms of providing that coaching to students is to help them understand how they can take the dual credit that they earn We Lead CS and transfer that to completion of a computer science associate degree if they want to stay close to home, or how those credits transfer to any one of the comprehensive universities in Kentucky. So we'll have a lot more of that data after this class. And then, obviously that will build on itself. On the ELL students, we do work with the districts on any accommodations that students need. We have not had that come up in this group of students. We did have some of that at iLead. We had 2 Spanish-speaking students that we worked with. So we do have a plan in place for that, but it's just not been requested. And I will also just tease a little bit to the commissioner. This is something we have talked about, and to you all, this will come. We do have some interest from both the School for the Blind and the School for the Deaf in offering this program for their students. And so that would also be something that we would be really excited about exploring with those two schools, and we've had conversations with them just as recently as today with the School for the Deaf. So that's another thing that we really want to try to do to expand our services beyond just traditional students.
Are there any other questions? Is there a limit to the number of districts that can participate?
Well, right now, that is purely dependent on the amount of money that the General Assembly gives us in order to be able to staff it. So, Dr. Ransdell, I don't know if you want to add, I know you've done some math on how many students you think that we would be able to accommodate in our current schedule. We have some room for growth within our current staffing complement, which is why I said I'm not sure exactly what that final number is. We're going to ask the General Assembly for in this session. But I think right now, if we had that $5 million appropriation, we should be able to serve around 750 students, which would be a huge swath of districts in the state.
That's correct.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you all very much for this presentation. It really opened my eyes to things that are available to districts, and it's really exciting and lines up so completely with our hopes for all students in the state for vibrant learning. You could tell from just hearing that student talk how much it meant to him and how it was opening his whole life to opportunities beyond, just right where he lives. So that was really exciting. So thank you very much.
Well, sure. Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it very much.
So I believe we need a motion to adjourn.
This is Lee. I so move.
And a second.
Julie Pyle, second.
And Glipsis Ann, would you like to do the roll call for adjournment?
Chair Holly Bloodworth.
Yes.
Dr. Justin Pate.
Yes, ma'am.
Julie Pyle.
Julie Pyle, yes.
Dr. Lee Todd.
Yes.
Dr. Lou Young.
Lou Young, yes.
Harper Blake, and Dr. Aaron Thompson. Voting is complete.
Thank you very much. And I guess we just wait here for the others to join.
We are all back.
All right. Well, hello.
Or should be.
meeting as a full board back to order and ask if our committee chairs are ready to make their reports. Calling first on Holly to report on the United We Learn Teaching and Learning Committee. Holly?
Yes, we had a really informative meeting this afternoon. We heard from the We Lead Computer Science Chief Executive Officer, Alicia Sells, KDE Chief Academic Officer, Mickey Marinelli, and KDE K-12 Computer Science Lead, Sean Jackson. They were talking to us today about the We Lead Computer Science program. It's a virtual career academy offering virtual computer science classes to districts all across the Commonwealth. The classes are getting students ready in the virtual world with lots of work-based opportunities. They call that their secret sauce. They are offering, helping students earn lots of different industry certifications. They get to do job shadowing. They have mock interviews, and they even offer student organizations. They showed us some charts of just the increase in the numbers of students that are participating and just some of the things that they are doing. And really looking at just the increase in the number of students from last year to this year is pretty amazing and really signals, I think, that a real need is being met in some of those districts, especially some of our smaller districts that can't really offer maybe computer science classes or have a computer science specialist in their district. This is fulfilling those needs and allowing students in those more rural districts to have access to so many amazing programs. We heard from one student that was doing like an internship type thing with Procter & Gamble. So his whole world was being opened up. So they work with Kentucky employers. They have an advisory board, and they're always looking at what may be coming next. One of the students talked about wanting to pursue cybersecurity, and they're looking at doing more with that and AI, data science, those kinds of things. Of course, the districts pay a little bit. I mean, honestly, it wasn't, I don't remember what the number was, but it was very reasonable amount for students to participate in this. But as they increase students, they're going to need more funds. So, fingers crossed that they can get the funds they need to offer this really important, vibrant learning experience to students, because it is something that I think students are really interested in, and a real great opportunity for many of our students to find their place in school. So we really appreciated the presentation. It was very exciting to hear about it.
Oh, thank you. I had a chance to peek in on that at the end of our state schools committee meeting, and it was fascinating. Dr. Poe?
Yes, before I start ours, I just want to say congratulations to Alicia Sells and the work that she's doing. I have to throw out there that I was very happy to work with her in the initial stages with NKYC seeking funding. So it warms my heart to see that the success of this program continuing. So congratulations, Alicia. And it was always hard. I had two screens going on. Wanting to watch that, to see that from that early start, and then doing ours. So I was late starting our meeting, but we did meet, and we had a great time meeting. It's always hard to follow Holly and the great passion she has because of the learning process that she played. Because in our particular thing, we got to discuss some great issues and barriers around CTE salary work group. We talk about vibrant learning, but who delivers that vibrant learning a lot of times are our CTE teachers, and we have to do some things because we got some challenges within the salaries. Some of the things that we discussed there, our early salaries are competitive. We're 17th or 7th overall, and then through the 4 different categories we have, unfortunately, we moved from starting out well but then we fall to 82nd in the state as people continue to progress. So that's part of the reason why we do have some barriers, and we consistently see our CTE teachers leaving when their level of pay does not keep up with not only workplace standards, but educational standards as well. So there's going to be some recommendations for changes. There is a work group, an advisory group on that, and they'll keep reporting back. But our entire committee supports the work that the committee is doing in and around salaries. And we need, in the next session, we really need to address this particular issue, because it's getting, like all of education right now, all our teachers are critical, but our CTE teachers, there's a lot of positions across the state that are not going filled, and we're losing programs because of that. The other area that we talked about is the KAR update, which is significant in this area that we're talking about here also. And I'm trying to, now my screen here is frozen. Hold on. To get the official title of that. It's 16 KAR 2.020, the occupational based teacher certification. So what that does is for our really extreme areas to keep up with workplace, because the majority of anybody getting a skilled certificate in this area is not working towards an associate's degree, but what's considered a master's within their field. That's HVAC, electricity, and plumbing. If they hold a Kentucky master's license in that area, they would not have to have that particular associate's degree. So that legislation was reported as moving through the paces, and it has now been referred to as part of the regulatory process, and has been referred to the LRC Subject Matter Committee for review. So we're staying after that. We want to make sure that that goes through so that we can continue to make sure that we can keep those individuals that we hire in the profession without having to seek additional education that's not relevant to within their particular field. So that concludes our report. I want to thank all our committee members for their intent and their input and their questions.
Thank you so much. Both committee meetings seemed quite interesting, always informative. I would remind board members that you do have access to the material for both committees in the portal, and it's available to you. We now go to our review agenda and begin with a presentation regarding our strategic dashboard. KBE Chief Performance Officer Karen Dodd and KBE Strategic Plan Manager Susan Strange will present on the strategic dashboard.
Chair Robinson, good afternoon, Commissioner and board members. We're really happy to be here with you today. Susan's going to be pulling up our strategic dashboard to go through. I feel like I've been teasing you all with this for quite a long time now, and it is finally published. So we're very excited to share it with you. I just want to be clear that this is a strategic dashboard versus what you would find out on the school report card or in open house. This dashboard is really focused on the strategic goals in the Department of Ed's strategic plan. So that's what we're going to be seeing today. This dashboard is also going to be kept up to date on a very regular basis. So you'll see that we have key performance indicators, and some of those we're able to update a couple times a year. So as our data becomes available, we'll be able to update this dashboard in real time. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Susan, and she's going to walk through it.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for having me. As Karen said, I am Susan Strange, and I'm the Strategic Plan Program Manager. And what I want to do today is just walk you through our strategic dashboard and show you a few things. But you can obviously peruse this in your own time. So first off, when you open the strategic dashboard, you're going to land on what we're calling the overview page. So it's just a quick snapshot of all of our goals and where we are currently. And then if you click on about the goals, then you'll get a little bit more descriptor on each of those goals and where we got the data from. Moving on, if you look at the top of this, all of the buttons, the navigation buttons across the top there, those are our what we're calling customer stakeholder goals. And then below that is going to be our operational goals, customer satisfaction, leadership capacity, process management, and then we have a link for resources, which I'll talk more about in a bit. So our first goal for customer stakeholder is our accountability system. So you'll see that we've got the goal here, implement an accountability model that includes vibrant learning, making it meaningful and useful for all learners. So that's our goal on this one. And then we've got a timeline here of what needs to happen for us to get that through the approval process. So that's kind of our goal on this one. It's slightly different than the rest of them. Then if you scroll down, this is our key performance indicators, and our key performance indicators for this particular goal is local accountability implementation or development, vibrant learning experiences, and portrait of a learner. And so what we're showing here is we're showing where the districts stand on that right now. So they've got a couple of different stages that we're calling them: not engaged, starting, spreading, sustaining. And you'll see that we give a description here of what each of those means. And this has been defined by the Division of Innovation, their regional innovation specialists who are gathering this data for us as well. If you want to switch your key performance indicator, you can go back up to the top here, and then this will allow you to switch the key performance indicator. So local accountability, we can switch to portrait of a learner. And when we scroll down, you'll see that now this has changed to portrait of a learner development. And then we can also switch and look at vibrant learning here, vibrant learning experiences. Okay, moving on to chronic absenteeism. The chronic absenteeism one you'll notice is slightly different. So it doesn't have a key performance indicators filter like the other one did, because we have grouped those together underneath here to give you a better view of those. So the one that we have is to decrease the percentage of Kentucky schools with high or extremely high rates of chronic absenteeism. And then we also have repeated that vibrant learning experiences, starting, spreading, sustaining on this one as well, because it's also a KPI for chronic absenteeism. Scrolling back up, I want to talk to you about our groups here. So this is how you can filter based on our demographic groups. So you've got gender. For this one, for chronic absenteeism, we also have grade levels. Then you have locale, so rural or urban, and then program. And then underneath here, we have race and ethnicity and socioeconomic. So you can click on any of these, and if the graph can be filtered, it will filter. So for example, if I click on gender female, then it's going to filter this graph here to talk about genders and females. Okay, moving on to early literacy. On the I'm sorry, I do want to go back to chronic absenteeism. I'm sorry. I also want to point out our data card over here on this side. As you all know, we've done a lot of work with the chronic absenteeism awareness campaign. And so we really wanted to put that information somewhere. And so we've added it to what we're calling a data card on some of these goals. And if they have a data card, there'll be a picture there with some information. And if they don't, then it'll just be a standard KDE photo. So awareness campaign numbers here, and then we also have some numbers for positive behavioral intervention system and resources. Okay, now I'm going to move on to early literacy. So on early literacy, we also have your selected group, your demographic breakdown here, and then we also have the KPIs here. So the KPIs will change based on what you're choosing here. So decreasing elementary grade band novice rate on the Kentucky Summative Assessment in Reading also has some demographic information. So when you switch, it should switch these down here as well. Let me see if I can find one that's a little more drastic. I'm sorry, our internet is very slow today. There we go. So you'll see that it is switching the KPI down here as well. So if the KPI has any demographic information tied to it, it will also work with this filter. Okay, numeracy is set up the same way. Select a group, select a key performance indicator, and then numeracy also has another data card on here. Early literacy had one as well for the reading academies, but numeracy has the reading academies, and then we also have some of the information on the mathematics achievement fund with the coach teachers and the coaches. So that's information on that. Okay. Moving on to educator recruitment, and I'm going to take this back to total here. Excuse me. There we go. So moving on to educator recruitment, this one, the KPI is slightly different on this one. So for example, our first KPI is to increase enrollment, concentration, and completion rates within the teaching and learning pathway. So on this KPI, if you'll notice down here, we've got all of the years on here, and then we have the number of enrolled, concentrated, and completers under that year. So you can see how those stack up. Then we also have Ed Rising participation numbers. And then we have the registered apprenticeships, which is new this year. We tried for for the user's ease to set these pages up so that they looked very similar across the goals. That way you knew exactly what you were doing on each of the pages. We have made some adjustments just based off of the key performance indicators that have been chosen for that particular goal. And now that we've got the basis for this, as Karen said, we want this to be fluid. We want it to be dynamic and change as new information is presented. So Leslie McKinney and myself are planning to finesse a little bit more, think through different ways in which we can visualize some of this data and start presenting that in different ways as well. But with all of that being said, customer satisfaction, process management, all of these are our operational goals, and they're set up the exact same way. There is no demographic information on these, so they won't change that way. But it's there just in case we ever do have that, we can have a filter ready to go. And then lastly, the resources page. It is attached to our strategic plan webpage, and essentially it's just links where people can go if they need more information on educator recruitment or numeracy or any of those goals. It's just to give them a quick access link page. All right, and I am available if anybody has any questions or.
Thank you, Susan. I do want to say thank you again to Susan and Leslie McKinney. They have put a lot of work in over the past year to make this work and working with the contractor that we have. So I'm really proud of it. I hope you guys like it and find it useful.
Well, I certainly want to thank you for this presentation. It anticipates a lot of questions that can come up during the course of a policy issue across the full range that and maybe beyond. Let me ask board members, do you have questions or comments for this amazing team? Thank you. Lou?
You're muted, Lou.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. I was so excited I couldn't get past it. Been anxiously awaiting to see the dashboard and really pleased with it. Something that I wanted to mention, I have a keen knack for the obvious sometime, but this is starting to look like a local accountability model. And I love seeing the dashboard as it has application to local school districts and what's happening there as well. I think I missed this in the beginning. Karen, when does this go public facing? And should I just book? It is now. So I can just bookmark this tab. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You know, it's like we got to learn to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And I really, really appreciate this tool that helps us be accountable to our own aspirations and whether we're getting there. So we'll be consulting that. I want to say, I'd love to have a session with our committee chairs to kind of drill down on some of these issues to help us determine the topics and concerns and issues that we discuss in our committee meetings. And we certainly will be consulting regarding our subsequent agendas. Other comments?
Yeah, I just want to comment and say it's great. I commented directly to the team when it was being developed. I think it's fantastic and echo everything Lou said in relationship to our own accountability. This is our statewide local accountability for ourselves. So I think it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Poe. Further comments? Yes, Alfonso.
From the teacher perspective, I mean, first of all, having been at KBE, I know the huge amount of work that probably you all must have put to do this. So kudos to you all because it looks really nice and really well organized. My question is, how or are there any plans or how are we planning to involve teachers in regard to them using this tool so that they can be participant of the conversation of not just keeping us accountable as board, but also keeping track of what's happening as well beyond their local level, right? Because those teachers can provide a lot of specific voice and a lot of specific feedback that yes, maybe connected just to the local, but it's important to bring those teachers, those voices. So what are the plans to share this with teachers, to involve them in the conversation? Has KBE thought of informational session, something like that?
We haven't really planned anything out like that. We can start sharing it with our advisory groups. We certainly have a teachers advisory, principal, superintendents, all of the groups. We're happy to do that if that would be useful to them. So I can put that out to all of our liaisons and let them know that we're available to share this with the groups who are interested.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alfonso. That's a good question. I mean, we do have constituent groups for which this tool might be very useful. So perhaps our next step is to think about how to help them let it know it's available and how to support their use of it. Julie?
Yeah, I would just like to commend on the work that goes into it. I think the appearance of it is very easy to navigate. I love being able to look at the KPIs. And I really appreciated this kind of quick demo of being able to navigate it. That was really helpful.
Good.
Thank you.
Further comment?
The other comment I want to make, or I guess a question, Karen, is, on the resource page, there's some very good information. As we go through, or as you go through looking at areas that are excelling, how does one, let's say, for example, I've reduced chronic absenteeism way better than the majority of the state, and I utilized X resources. How do they, as LaFonza said, how do they go about giving that to you as a potential resource to add on to this page?
Yeah, I think that's something that we need to think about, how to get those kind of highlight things in here. That page specifically is just for, it is to go to other resources, and we could, I don't want to just rush to an answer. I think we need to think about that a little bit more and just figure out the best way to be able to do that. And maybe sharing it with those advisory groups would help us think through that.
Right, because like tomorrow when we go over test scores, one of my questions is going to be is, that there are schools that's defying the odds. So how are we looking at them and what resources are we taking from them? But at that same time, we got to make sure that we vet out that that's quality that's going and not just a one-time lucky shot or something to that effect.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we were thinking about things like that when it comes to United We Learn and with the regional instructors. I probably said that wrong. Sarah Snipes' team, all of her folks. They're finding out a lot of those good places that we need to highlight when it comes to all the vibrant learning and accountability and all that kind of stuff. So we have been working with them to think about how to highlight that. A lot of that will be highlighted out on the United We Learn web page. So whether it's linking to our other web pages, which is kind of what we have out there right now, but to let folks know, it might be just worth when we do add something like in there, something like that in there on that resource page, working with Jen Ginn and her team to do some kind of a spotlight on the weekly newsletter that goes out from the commissioner that would then draw them there to see it. Just a thought that I'm having right now to answering that question.
Well, you can tell there's a lot of like, wow, this is really exciting. And I think we've done a good job of identifying the various sources of information that allow us to be more intentional and precise in understanding how we are doing, the evidence bases and so forth. I'm really, really excited about this. Thank you so much, Karen and team, Susan and others. I know this is a pretty amazing effort. Yeah, applause. We got some more applause on the agenda because the next item is to hear from our 2020 Kentucky Teacher of the Year. We're pleased to announce that our Teacher of the Year, Michelle Gross, and the KBE program consultant, Allie Green, will be talking with us, but you just can't imagine the excitement when we learned that Ms. Gross was recently named, was named a finalist for the 2026 National is offered by the Council of Chief State School Officers. And it was exciting being with you, Michelle, when you were announced the Kentucky 2026 Teacher of the Year. We're expecting an exciting time all the way through. So let's hear from Michelle and Allie Green regarding your plans for the year.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Allie Green. I'm a program consultant in the Division of Educator Recruitment and Development. One of the programs that I have the privilege of overseeing is the Kentucky Teacher of the Year Awards. And in this role, I get to work with some of the best teachers across the state and see firsthand the difference they're making in their classrooms and in their communities. Today, I'm here to introduce our 2026 Kentucky Teacher of the Year and one of 5 finalists for the 2026 National Teacher of the Year Award. So we are super excited. She is a math and gifted studies teacher at Spencer County Middle School. And here is Michelle Gross.
Thank you, Allie, and thank you, board, for the opportunity to join you today. I am Michelle Gross, Kentucky Teacher of the Year, but I wear the titles of wife, mom, and middle school math teacher just as proudly. At the heart of my work is belief of creating community in the classroom. I believe in the power of connection, belonging, and giving the students a purpose for learning that goes far beyond a grade. That belief is also why Kentucky United We Learn vision resonates so deeply with me, because it recognizes that meaningful learning begins with relationships and shared responsibility. So if we can go to the next slide, please. I grew up in Harlan County, Kentucky, a coal town where community runs deep. Like many families in our region, poverty and substance abuse were part of my story. But those challenges did not define me. What shaped me were the teachers who noticed me, who believed in me, and who gave me a reason to learn. They created spaces where I felt seen and capable. That experience taught me that something that I can still carry today. Education is not just about mastering content. It is about creating environments where every student belongs. Unitedly We Learn reminds us that vibrant learning experiences are built on the foundation of belonging. And that belief became my why. It's the kind of classroom community that I have spent my career so far trying to build. Can we go to the next slide? When I was in high school, a teacher asked me to become a peer math tutor. That after-school job changed everything. One of the students that I worked with was at risk of not graduating. And when I watched him walk across the stage in 1999, I was quietly proud to have played a small part in his success. But later I realized that there were teachers behind both of us, connecting, guiding, and encouraging. That moment helped me understand that creating community in the classroom isn't just about helping students learn, it's about helping them believe that they can. Those are the very skills that we now describe in Kentucky's Portrait of a Learner: confidence, collaboration, communication, and agency. I didn't have the language back then, but I lived the impact of it. Let's go to the next slide. That pride and purpose led me to Cumberland College to pursue a degree in teaching. And while I did serve students academically, I also served through a children's ministry group where I saw firsthand how powerful it is when a community wraps themselves around children, meeting physical, emotional, and academic needs together. And when students feel like they belong, they thrive. This belief aligns closely with United We Learn's call to partner with families and communities to support the whole child. Let's go to the next slide. Today, that belief in connection lives in my classroom at Spencer County Middle School. One of my favorite examples of this is our Dream House project. Students research homes that they'd like to build for their future selves. They browse Zillow, they calculate scale, they design blueprints, and they create models, some with cardboard and popsicle sticks and others using digital tools like Minecraft or Floor Planner. But what transforms this from an assignment into something meaningful is the community around it. We invite local professionals to visit our classroom to offer feedback and advice and even share their own journeys. Students see adults who look like them, who come from similar backgrounds and have built meaningful lives. In those moments, students stop asking, "What's my grade?" and they start asking, "What's my future?" Regardless of their background, they begin to see themselves as future homeowners and problem solvers, proof that hard work, learning, and collaboration opens doors. We even host an annual Dream Home-a-rama where top projects are showcased. Through experiences like this, students connect with one another, with professionals, and with a sense of purpose. This is United We Learn in action: vibrant learning experiences, innovation in instruction, and learning that prepares students for life beyond a test. When we go to the next slide, you're going to see a video. It's about 4.5 minutes long, but it actually shows you what is going on in my classroom.
Blueprints are the perfect thing, and a lot of times worksheets will even go with blueprint, but I honestly didn't know where to get started because it did seem like overwhelming. Project-based learning can feel a little bit overwhelming in the beginning. So I found a resource that I purchased to get me started. And that had the students calculating the area and the perimeter of different floor plans in apartments. It also had them looking at kind of putting on their building inspector hat and looking at the kitchen design for you can't have the refrigerator next to the sink. You have to have counter space in between. This year we featured the Dream Home-orama, where we had the Best of Home showing, where students applied to present. The other new feature that has been evolving over the course of a few years is the 3D model. We don't require our students to create the 3D model. We have them create their floor plans, but a lot of the things that you saw today, Minecraft and the Roblox and that kind of stuff, that was something that students chose to do. Yes, it is a scale drawing project, but there's so many different things that they're making, connections that they're making. The students are calculating mean because in order to appraise their house, they went to Zillow or Realtor.com and looked at comps in the area and averaged those to figure out what the approximate value of their house would be. So there's just so much math involved, and each year we just kind of add a little.
I like to build things. I like to experiment with things and see how it would work in real life instead of doing it on a screen all the time. For me, I'm an art person. So I like to make it creative, not just write it down on a piece of paper and be done with it. Especially with this, it helped me because I could learn math by converting everything and still getting to do it my own way.
So I walked into class, sat down, then I heard we're building a project. I was just thinking about that all day until I got home. So first I planned it out in my head, and then I put it on a floor planner, and I built all of this stuff at my house, and I built all of this at school. So usually I'm like kind of bored, want to go home, go outside and play, but this was real fun because I love building.
Tinkercad to build my project. It was like 3D imaging software that we did to do 3D printing things, and I kind of wanted to carry the knowledge I had of that from the previous experiences to make something. I like all the tiny details you can add inside of it, like the things that you can build yourself.
I was glad to show off my house. Stressful and fun.
Presenting multiple times to multiple people, and they got more comfortable doing it. So it taught public speaking skills for them. They also had to think about things. There were realtors that were asking them really good questions. A mortgage broker was walking around. I was hearing some of the questions that she was asking them about the cost of their house and can they afford to live in their house and what kind of job are they going to have. And so by asking those questions, those students are thinking even deeper.
We get to do projects, but the Homeorama was probably one of the most funnest projects ever because you'll get immediate feedback from people that work in that field, like realtors, like electricians, like anyone that works with houses or anything like that. You get feedback immediately and you can learn from it. I feel like this could help someone that does not like math, because if you don't like math because of all the worksheets, word problems, and all that stuff, this could help you because you can do really whatever you want.
So, creating community in the classroom is about more than just learning together. It's about belonging together. When students feel seen, valued, and connected, they find the courage to take risks, to share ideas, and grow in ways that they never thought possible. A strong classroom community turns learning into a shared journey where everyone lifts each other up. It reminds us that education isn't just about what we know, but it's about who we become together. But students aren't the only ones who need community. Teachers do too. Across Kentucky and the nation, our schools are working to address teacher shortages. And while competitive pay matters, what truly sustains teachers is a sense of purpose and belonging. Teachers stay where they feel valued, supported, and connected to something meaningful. Let's go to the next slide. As Education Ambassador for Kentucky, I have seen the importance of fostering those connections. I work to promote the profession through outreach programs like Go Teach Kentucky and mentoring students in the Educators Rising programs. I've also been exploring recruitment and retention strategies nationally, learning from organizations like UPS, and also interviewing other educators to understand how purposeful, connected systems keep great people committed to their work. Districts across Kentucky are invested in grow your own efforts, creating cohorts of homegrown educators through scholarships, mentoring, and support. And why will they return? Because they feel connected, they belong, they have purpose. This is how United We Learn becomes sustainable, not through programs alone, but through people. But recruiting teachers is only half the work. We must also reach educators who feel unseen or unsure that what they do still matters. We must create schools where teachers experience the same sense of community that we strive to build for students. Because when teachers belong, they rediscover why they started. And when our teachers thrive, our students do too. So on my final slide, I'll leave you with some questions. Where in your life do you feel that deep sense of community? And more importantly, how can we create that feeling for every student and educator in Kentucky? This is the culture of learning that we're working to build, one rooted in community, one aligned with United We Learn, and one that lasts. Thank you.
Chair Robinson, you're muted.
I was still thinking about that question. And Michelle, thank you so much for helping us really understand the journey that you have been on as our Kentucky Teacher of the Year, that you remain on as an amazing educator who really builds out from that sense of community. Thank you. Board members, comments, questions for Michelle?
This is Lee. Todd, congratulations. I can certainly see why you're the nominee from this state for the national award. Where did you start this? What got you into this style of teaching?
Doing the project-based learning.
Right.
So when I reflect back on my career, thinking through as a student, I remember a lot of the projects that we did. I don't remember a lot of math projects. And I think maybe you all can kind of look back too, and it's so funny because math is so real world. And that's where projects, come through. I think it's so important to let the kids see math in the real world and see the real world in math. And so for me, the way I started small, and then built from there. And each year I reflect and grow. And now I do have amazing partner teacher who we work together to reflect on what went well, what to do to improve. And then when the community came in, the cool thing about bringing the community in is not only does the students see the community and get feedback, but our community sees our students. Often middle schoolers get overlooked because of their age, but they are doing some really cool things. And so it's really neat for the community to see what they can do. And each year it grows. More and more people show up on our Dream Home-A-Rama Day. And so it's been fun the last few years.
Super.
This is Justin Pate, and I'm a former Green Dragon myself, so I think it's okay for me to say that I'm really proud of a Kwood graduate, but really very proud of what you've done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Julie?
I just want to say, love this. You're right up my heart. Middle schoolers, they're just fun kids. So, and they can be really creative. Love the engagement with the community. The other thing with the community coming in, it validates the learning of what the kids are doing. And it really shows that there is a connection to the real world.
Absolutely. For example, we're in our Dream Home-A-Rama project right now. We're not missing school today, but last week we missed school, and we were able to talk to the kids like, yes, you have deadlines that you have to meet, but weather is a factor. Things happen. You have to make changes. We also had a few years ago, one of the constructors walking in my door, and one of the kids was kind of freaking out a little bit, like, I don't feel like I'm ready yet. And he had the opportunity to say, you know what? There's oftentimes I go in the meetings and I don't feel ready yet either. it's all a work in progress. And so it kind of put her at ease, but also just recognizing that adults feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely send an invite to the board. We would love to come see the Homerama.
That
I would
is
love to come.
wonderful. We're doing
And
it on the 19th, and I will do that.
okay. And then the other
Great.
thing, just to kind of tag on to what you talked about, the teachers and the community, goes back to John Hattie's work. The #1 impact on student success is teacher collective efficacy.
Yes.
Absolutely. Holly?
Yes, so exciting to hear from you and so proud of you to be a national finalist. I was just wondering about the next steps in that journey. Have you had your interview and those kinds of things yet? And when is the national announced?
I interview in Washington, D.C., March 5th and 6th. So we'll go up and we'll do practice and run-throughs and sound checks. And I've gotten an opportunity to go through interview training and media training, and I am learning so much. But I will interview on the 6th, and then I think I'll find out within the next couple of weeks, but I think the official announcement won't come out until probably April.
Well, we are really proud of you and rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Alfonso?
I cannot help myself, but I'm gonna do like in all good fashion teacher conference when we go to sessions. May I borrow this resource that you have shared, because I have a perfect iteration to your project about the home drama, and it's very amazing to see that you are already doing with middle school students. So just to put the seed in your mind, I wonder what would happen to your students if you could add as well if you could put the addition of what about doing this in another language, right?
Oh.
So happy to talk to you at another moment, but thank you for what you do. This is amazing, and please let me borrow this resource.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Commissioner?
Again, to echo a lot of what's been said already, but Ms. Gross, thank you. Thank you so much for your heart, for your compassion. A lot of great teachers come out of the mountains. I'll just say that. I'll kind of plant that seed just a little bit. Maybe another math teacher wasn't quite on the level of Miss Gross, but again, it was so much fun to see kids when they were involved and engaged and joyful. You could see the impact. Instead of just having a math worksheet, the kids were talking to people in the community. They were presenting, they were communicating. This was a profile of a learner. This was vibrant learning. This is so much on so many levels, but also to brag a little bit on your school. First of all, to allow you to have these opportunities to step out and to have project-based learning. And I loved how you aligned it back to Kentucky standards. Thank you for that. But also, too, for those of you that may not know, Spencer County also does a lot of work in career exploration at the middle school level. Students rotate through different labs of having opportunities in everything from biomed to engineering and to other areas, too, with career exploration. So, again, a lot of great things going on there. We won't brag too much on Dr. Foster, the superintendent there, but again, a lot of great work going on. And Ms. Gross, thank you for taking a lead. Thank you for stepping out. And two, just so thankful that you have a district that's supporting you in this. And I think this is spreading. We see more and more of this, but this picture says it all. We could end right there, end the meeting right here, and this picture would be enough to take us throughout the rest of the year. So thank you for it. Congratulations on getting this far. And the last thing I'll say is it was so much fun to look back at towards your son when you were named Teacher of the Year in Kentucky, because he kept looking at your husband like, I think that's mom. I think they're talking about mom. And then I don't think there was anybody more excited than he was in the whole room. So congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And the cool thing is about this picture, I don't know if you noticed, but the girl in the front's holding a book. We were featured in our class was featured in a book on tabletop role playing games in the classroom, and so we got a copy of it. We were able to read through it, and the kids were so excited to be in a published book.
Ah, that is so amazing. So amazing. Steve?
Well, I'd just like to say it's an excellent presentation, and I do want to echo. I love that last slide with the children in there. You can tell that they enjoy learning in the style that you use as a teacher, and I just want to wish you all the luck in the world. As hopefully you will be named, and I think you deserve to be the National Teacher of the Year. So good luck with that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Wow, Michelle, thank you so much for just a wonderful experience with you as our State Teacher of the Year. We look forward to celebrating your further recognition. And you leave us with so much amazing documentation about what vibrant learning looks like for middle school math. I mean, I was a middle school teacher, and it was my favorite, actually the favorite of my career. It was in English. The learners are just so ready to be engaged, or we could let them languish. And that is, your students are certainly engaged, and it is just such a joy to be able to share it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
More on this topic, my friends, because I think Michelle's going to just knock it out of the ballpark in the national competition. Now, if you will, board members, let's go to the legislative update. Not quite on the same level of excitement, but we're doing okay too. So Brian Perry and the commissioner will bring us the legislative update.
Thank you, Chair Robinson. Good afternoon, everybody. We'll try to run through this fairly quickly. It's been a very busy session so far. We hit the 1/3 mark this week, so about 40 days left of session days. So it'll be a race to the finish at this point. So here we go. Next slide, please. So just as a reminder, they will be off on President's Day. We're exactly a month away from the last day for new bill introductions in the House, just under a month to go for new bills in the Senate. As I think everybody knows, after that date, they can still amend bills significantly. So, but it will be the last days for filing. Then they'll go into concurrence days at the end of the month there in March, and then we'll have veto days in early April, and they will come back and wrap things up on the 14th and 15th of April. So there's the session calendar if you would like to download it and follow along. With the winter weather of the past 2 weeks, we'll likely see them put out an amended calendar. I think they missed one day last week, so we'll probably see an amended calendar here soon. Next slide, please. And if you want to follow along, different committees meet on different days of the week. As we get later into the session, they might have specially called sessions or meetings. So just kind of pay attention as we move along. For right now, here are the ones that you may want to tune into. Obviously, primary and secondary education in the House, and education in the Senate, and then both A&R committees, given that it is a budget year. And there's the committee schedule, just in case you want to print it out and have it handy. Next slide, please. Everything is streamed online, either on KET's website or on the LRC YouTube site. Both are linked there. And then there's the link to the bills. The bills have been getting updated late evening, so 7, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you want to, if you're looking for something that's happened today, check back late evening. Next slide, please. And just as a reminder, here are 2 primary education committees that we work with. Unfortunately, Scott Lewis, chair of House Primary and Secondary Education, did not file for re-election. So we will have a new chair there next year, but he has been fantastic to work with, and we're going to miss him a lot. Next slide. All right, so if you will remember back in the fall, you all passed your list of priorities heading into the session. And so I wanted to give a little update on where we are with those items. I'm happy to say that almost everything has been filed. So we've gotten things introduced. That's the first step, so that's great. We'll circle back to 257 because I think the commissioners are going to want to say a few things about that after today's committee meeting. Senate Bill 22 is a bit of a continuation from last year. Senator Higdon kind of later in the session introduced a teacher scholarship bill. Unfortunately, it got a very large fiscal note attached to it and did not go anywhere. We worked with he and other stakeholders during the interim and settled on what is now Senate Bill 22, which has already moved over to the House. It moved very quickly out of the Senate. It's essentially a expanded dual credit for registered teacher apprenticeship programs. There are 3 of those currently in districts. One of those, the most prominent being Nelson County. So it's a very narrow scope, but it will help those existing programs by allowing those students to use dual credit to get their associate before they graduate high school, and then they transfer immediately into the partner EPP. One of the reasons we pushed for the registered apprenticeship programs is that those have to be approved by, Education and Labor Cabinet. That in turn means that they have talked to EPSB and OELE to make sure that the program is one that will lead to certification. So some nice checks there. So excited to see where this goes in the House. I also think that this is so narrow that it leaves open the conversation of a broader teacher scholarship bill. So we'll continue that conversation in the interim. There's continue to be mentions of utilizing work-ready scholarship dollars. That's a change that happened a while back in terms of adding education to one of the top 5 demand sectors. The initial conversation with Senator Higdon was how to utilize those dollars, but it's a bit of a square hole, round peg kind of thing. And so we continue to have those conversations. So we'll see where that conversation goes in the interim. So we also put together a list of cleanup items for your consideration that you all approved. These were items that were brought forward to us by the offices. All of them got filed in Senate Bill 121 by Senator Jay Williams. Very thankful to him for sponsoring this bill for us. He did take out the staggered board terms. That got filed as a separate bill, Senate Bill 120. A little different proposal than what we had suggested. However, we've still had some conversations about our preferred language. So it's a little unclear where the staggered language may show up again, if it does at all. So we'll continue to have those conversations and push for our preference on the staggering of the board terms. The 207 related, the waiver related items, cleanup items may get pulled out. There may be a separate bill for the 207 items, not sure yet. But otherwise, those are all in there. Hopefully we will see this bill move. Senator Williams has been a little busy with the KCNA and Kentucky Wired bills that are moving right now. So I suspect that once those are done moving, we can circle back to our cleanup bill. And then I know everybody was very interested to see some cleanup to Senate Bill 181 from last session. That's the authorized communications with students in your district. Happy to say that Senator Tensioner did file a cleanup. Somewhat confusingly, it's also Senate Bill 181. It got amended along the way, but I think we're in a pretty good spot with it. I think we have one small ask still remaining related to employees working in the ATCs. So we'll work on that, but otherwise happy to say that I think everything got addressed that we were hoping to get addressed. Next slide, please. So if you've been following along in the news with the session, you'll have heard that the Senate has really made education a top priority this session, as noted by the fact that their top 6 bills are all education bills. So generally speaking, the top 10 bills in each chamber are their high priority bills for the session. So kind of striking to see the Senate come out with their top 6 all education related. I'll also say that I don't think any of these are particularly surprising. I think for 1 through 5, I think they're all things that we have been talking about in the interim. or that have been in the news, so to say. So not surprised, but we'll run through these kind of quickly. So Senate Bill 1 is a repeat bill. So back in 2022, they passed Senate Bill 1. The policy part of that bill is the same as in this version of Senate Bill 1. That bill was ultimately ruled unconstitutional, not because of the content of the policy content, but because it lacked rationale for singling out a district. And so Senate Bill 1 this go around opens with a rather lengthy list of rationales for why changes are necessary to the roles and responsibilities related to JCPS board and superintendent. Senate Bill 2 is another one that, again, we heard kind of discussed a little bit in the interim, a little different than what I think was initially talked about, but it's aiming to limit pay raises to superintendents and administrators that are greater than the average increase given to classroom teachers in the district. Senate Bill 3, again, no surprise here, financial responsibility and transparency, given some of the things that's happened over the last 10 months. Not surprised at all to see this. It's really mirroring some of what we've already seen some districts do in local accountability, where they're posting financial dashboards. So not surprised to see that one. Senate Bill 4 is one that we have had quite a few conversations on and continue to talk to folks about. But right now it is a reimagined principal induction and training program that spans 5 years. We have the first 2 years, there's a gap year, truest program, and then a menu of options for the final year. Senate Bill 5 is one that we have been working with the Department of Agriculture on, so it's a top priority for them. Generally speaking, it's trying to get more fresh local food into our schools. That is much more complicated than it sounds, but this is taking some steps to remove roadblocks to hopefully make that a little more accessible for schools. And then finally, I'll just mention Senate Bill 6 because it's a rather large number, but it would appropriate $150 million to the Endowed Research Fund that was created a few sessions ago that is meant to encourage collaboration among the post-secondary universities. Obviously, there's a lot of other Senate bills, but I didn't want to run through all of them all at once. So those are your high priority education related bills in the Senate. They are all moving or have moved. So Senate Bills 1 and 3 are already over in the House. And I think Senate Bill 5 may have moved just a little while ago. And then 2 and 4 are up tomorrow in Education Committee. So they're on their way as well. So, all right, next slide. We'll talk about a few House bills. Again, we have something like 150 bills on the bill chart right now. So a lot of bills out there, an overwhelming number actually, with more to come. So this is just a very small sampling that I thought you all might be interested in. So a couple of priority bills from the House, House Bill 4, which has already moved, I think, over to the Senate. It's an anti-grooming bill, but it's not targeted just at educators. So it's a broader bill, but I think one that we are supportive of. Senate Bill or House Bill 7, Representative Hale, this is his last session. He has had, I think, this bill filed each year that I have been at KDE, so not real surprised to see it become a priority bill for them in his final session. If you remember back to the summer when Congress passed H.R. 1, the one big beautiful bill, it had a provision in there that allows states to opt in to these qualified education scholarship tax credits. And so House Bill 88 is the only bill currently out there that would opt us in as a state to that program. Prior to the session, I thought that would be a topic of conversation that was a little hotter than it has been so far. So interested to see if that moves anywhere. House Bill 416 is one that we were able to work with Representative Kleins on. Had a lot of conversations with him. Dr. Brewer was at the table when that one passed out of committee, and it is now over in the Senate. It is looking to change initial undergrad admissions into EPPs by removing any sort of barrier in terms of testing and changing it to a formative test that then would guide the post-secondary institution and kind of what areas that student may need support in to get through the program and ultimately get into the classroom as a certified teacher. And then on the back end, it's looking to tailor content assessments a little more narrowly, kind of the preschool or the kindergarten teacher that's being tested on advanced mathematics and things like that. So again, that one's over in the Senate, so we'll see where it goes from here. The big news of late is the filing of the budget bill. So House Bill 500 is our budget bill this year. A little bit of a different process than we've seen in the past. So we are working on that bill, and we'll be having, I imagine, quite a few conversations as that moves through the process in the House and then over to the Senate. And then finally, I just wanted to put on your all's radar that we have seen another bill related to governance for KSD. It's 528 this year. I believe that this is a bill we have seen versions of in the past, but just wanted to make the board aware that it was out there. So for right now, those are all the ones I'm going to highlight. Again, a lot more happening. I will say that this has been the best session that I've had at KDE in terms of communication in both chambers. And so I think that the efforts that the commissioner put in the interim and really prioritizing building relationships across the river are paying off. And so that's some good news for the board. And I think that's all I have unless there are any questions, and I'm happy to field any questions. I know that's kind of an abbreviated update, but didn't want to overwhelm you all more than necessary.
Now, I have a couple of real quick questions. May I ask?
Oh, sure.
The bill that proposes to take $150 million and put it in a research fund, typically there's a fiscal note attached to these, I believe. Where's the proposal that money would come from?
Where, I'm sorry, what's the
would the money come from? Aren't there
oh,
typically
just the general fund? It would be a one-time payment out of the general fund, I think. I haven't paid a lot of attention. That one just got filed in the past few days, so haven't had a lot of conversations about it.
So it's an additional allocation of money from the general fund. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. One last question. The governance, since I'm sitting here in the hospitality of Kentucky School for the Deaf, the question is the governance, the governance change that's being proposed for KSD is. Can you speak more about that, or you may not be prepared to speak about that, or can you speak about it at all?
I have read it, and I think that just generally speaking, it's looking to make it more like a district, right? To have their own superintendent, kind of remove it from underneath the board and give it a little more autonomy. So
I understand. Those are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Chair Robinson, I believe you're muted.
And thank you. Other questions for either Brian or the commissioner?
If I may add, just for Chair Robinson, if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
I want to point out a couple of things as it relates to House Bill 500, the budget bill. We do have some language that we're looking at that we're wanting to add. I had a meeting with OFO today with Matt and also with Karen Worth. There's some cuts in our operating and support services that I think that we're going to be okay with. I mean, it's going to cause us to kind of tighten up some areas. But two of the main concerns that we have as far as funding comes back to the SEEK transportation. If you look at what's in there currently, it's a $40 million cut. It essentially sets transportation back to the fiscal year 2024 funding, which is $40 million less than fiscal year 2025. Our projections are going to be very high for the cost of transportation for districts, and that you're looking at probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million is what our transportation costs are going to be across the Commonwealth. And so if we're only funded at $348 million, you're looking at in the 60s, 68, 69, somewhere along in that area, 65 to 70% funded for transportation for districts. So the other thing that is missing, there are 17 districts that passed the nickel, the equivalent nickel that we talk about that for that equalized facility funding. That funding is not included in the budget bill. So our 17 districts that passed the nickel tax, right now, the budget bill does not include that language. So that's something else that and again, I'm not talking about additional budget requests. I'm talking about what we feel like that was possibly left out of the budget from the current HB 500. There are some other items that we feel like that should have been in there as far as continuing some of our construction projects. I think they'll also have a construction project with like our FFA camp or FFA facility, and as also with KSD and KSB. So we're going to be talking about that. But that's looking at funds that we feel like that was left out of House Bill 500. We've been getting a lot of questions, and we've been doing some presentations. Like when we send our ABRs over, we have different legislators that are looking at all of our ABRs and then picking out ones they want us to come back and to present on. So we've been doing that also too. We've had, I think OET has been asked to present. They've talked about their funding, and also too CTE has made a presentation too after having those requests. But again, that comes from the ABR process that we put forth as the board. These are our 27 different priorities as we move forward. So I just wanted to point that out about House Bill 500. And I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Robinson.
Thank you. Dr. Young?
I think Brian was actually tossing the commissioner an update on House Bill 257 earlier.
Okay, I will do that also. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Also, too, is looking at 257, we went through the updates with the Cool Council, and really the only changes from what was with the Cool Council is, and I'm going to break it down and give more information, but the two major changes since what we did with the Cool Council was the adding the word all to make sure that all students are a part of the local accountability when it comes in, but also too the reduction from a $10,000 per district and $3 per student down to, and that was a yearly ask, down to a one-time $15,000 cap for districts to get help or get a financial offset. The other that was added in was to align the writing policy across the curriculum at site-based councils to align it with the language as it deals with superintendents and how they handle curriculum. But now overall, if you look at 257, just to give everybody a refresher, there's two sections to 257. There's the CSI calculation piece. It is the state accountability that meets federal requirements. And over that portion, again, think of that as the section that actually has CSI calculation in it. It's the formula. So right now, reading, math, science, and social studies are assessed in part of the formula for calculation for CSI. That's what is in 257. Also the current change element will be switched to student growth. Where did you get the student? Where did you take them? Transition readiness, graduation rate are still part of the calculation for CSI. Also, too, the climate and safety survey has been replaced with chronic absenteeism. That was something that, again, that the Cool Council and many others were opposed to. We did have that pushback from legislators wanting that to be a part of the model. Well, again, I want everybody to know, too, that when I go over and talk to them, I point out this was the original 4.0, model that was put forth by the Cool Council, and I make sure they understand the changes. I do expect some things to come back in and maybe be discussed further, especially when we get to the Senate side. There are many legislators, for example, that want to talk about interim assessments. They want to talk about other parts. Also, with the English language progress, it remains in the CSI calculation, but now the on-ramp for those students to be a part of the CSI calculation or a part of accountability is 3 years. So the first year for ELL students, it would be a baseline year. Year 2 is based on their growth. That's where they're in the accountability model. And then year 3 includes their performance or status along with growth. So then they would be quote unquote fully within. On the local accountability side, vibrant learning is one of the requirements to be a part of those. And the wording changed from local accountability to local indicators of quality. Again, the reason for that we were given is a lot of times when we deal with legislators, they see local accountability as local comparisons. And they didn't. And as far as talking about, this is not a comparison model. We're not looking for comparisons in local accountability. It's about what the local issues are. So again, vibrant learning is included as a requirement. There's also a requirement for data to be displayed, very similar to something maybe we saw a little bit earlier with our dashboard. Districts could take that on if they so desire. Also, KDE must offer technical assistance when it comes to local accountability. So we are asking for some funding as it relates to 6 regional specialists. I think that was the word that Karen was looking for a little bit earlier. And again, the one-time cost has been reduced from at $10,000 per district and $3 per student down to $15,000, but only a one-time. Again, and my point, I would love to have that back to it would be a yearly thing and back up to $10,000. The last, another piece of the local accountability was it was in the original proposal, it was every district shall have a local accountability model, I think within 4 years. Now there's trigger language instead. Once we get to 60% of all districts to have a local accountability model, then within 2 years following, then all districts shall have a local indicators of quality. The other part that was lobbied for in the, and we agree with, we were trying to get the color coding, the color rating systems removed and moved to more of a, did you meet federal requirements? Did you not, or meets or not required? But that was put back in, that there would be a color ratings of the red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So that was put back in from the other areas. Other things that were missing from here that I think we'll have some other conversations again will be the opt-in interim assessments along with the adaptive assessments at the end. Again, we had proposed that districts could opt into our interim assessments that would go on with the others. And then also the adaptive assessments would be things that would be allowed districts to have grade level equivalency. So students would get grade level equivalency, were they on grade level or not, along with grade level proficiency. Another part that, again, superintendents have been reaching out to me about the concern about chronic absenteeism as a portion of the assessment. I'm voicing that with legislators too. I would expect that to be revisited. It may or may not, it may be left there, but we'll see. And then I think those are the other parts that I think that in listening to talk in the hallways that may be brought back that was actually removed from the original 4.0. So that's my update on 257. If I missed anything, Brian, that you can think of on that?
Nope, just that it moved out of committee this morning unanimously. So it is now awaiting a vote on the House floor.
So the color
Sure.
coding then being back is something of, it's beyond being a distraction. It's more than, so we'll work on it on the Senate side.
That's something that we'll talk to our senators about. It was very strongly it was put back in, we'll say, in the discussions from the House side. But yes, we will talk to them on the Senate side about it.
All right, Randy.
Yeah, I have some concerns there. You went through a lot of changes there from the original 4.0. Can we get a side-by-side comparison of where we are versus what we agreed to? Because I think you said, if I'm not sure, on CSI, you said we're going to continue testing and monitoring in 4 areas instead of the reading and the math. Because sometimes these bills, as you know, as you're going through, take a life of their own. And this seems to be changing a lot from what we agreed to send over as part of a bill. Now, I know at the end, once we put it out there, we can't control everything as we're seeing. But at the same point in time, if it veers too far off the track, it might not be something that we as a board had wanted. Because to me, if we're going to continue in the 4 areas of CSI and we're not doing the 2 and having our federal accountability, our state portion over here with local indicators, we're just adding more testing or more responsibilities onto the districts than where they were before. Because I did local indicators, or if I was a good school district, so now we're just going to be mandating more. I mean, the whole premise of this was to reduce testing, not have the same testing, and have more indicators I'm responsible for. That's
To
my
add to that, Randy, there was on-demand writing and editing mechanics has been taken out of that calculation. So that is one piece so far. That would be less testing, but you're right. That is a major difference from the original proposal to include
And-
social studies and science in there.
Right. And no formative test replacing some of the things or building up to the summative. So to me, those were the real major points that was coming out of this. And I know we had lots of discussion leading up to this, and there's controversy both ways on this thing, but it just seems like we're not getting close to what we wanted at this point in time with the color coding, as the board chair just said in there, and not reducing that, because that color coding is once again a major thing that people look at and say, okay, you got X number of red and X number of green. I'm great because I got greens, and I might not be a great school district because of that. So forth. Anyway, my opinion, and I know it doesn't
I agree
mean
with your
much, but
opinion
that's
there,
my
Randy.
concern.
I agree wholeheartedly with that, Dr. Poe. I think that, we're really trying to push collaboration among districts, and I really believe that the color coding looks more at, a competition as opposed to uplifting. One of the things that we were pushing, or that I think Julie shared a little bit earlier about, I think it was Adair County that was doing their defenses of learning. And as part of their looking at developing local accountability models and their portraits of the learner, you've got other districts coming in to learn from each other and see how we can make sure we have a better system for our students. So I do agree with the color coding, and that's something that we'll try our best to work on the Senate side.
Thank you.
Lou?
Yes, thank you so much, Chair Robinson. I did want to punctuate Randy's comments about keeping a close eye on 257, because we don't want to end up with a gutting of our original plans, so that what we move forward with is something that is dissatisfying on all fronts. I do think there are lots of compromises in the bill as it stands right now. There's some wins in there, and there are some losses in there. But I do appreciate Robbie's advocacy. I know there have been times when he said, we just can't live with that language. So I think as a board, we're going to have to be sensitive to that as well. The fact that local accountability is still in there, the trigger is in there, the future of the United We Learn effort as Kentucky Board of Education's vision for the future of learning and teaching in Kentucky, I think, is really important. But the devil is in the details. Holly and I had a conversation about where the writing trade-offs came from. I think it's important to point out that writing plans are still included in the bill language, at least before it was. I haven't seen today's meeting yet, of course. But there are some offsets, I think, in the bill that we can be happy about. And but to Randy's point and to Chair Robinson's point, keeping a close eye on it as it works its way through the process, I think will be really important. And keeping the board updated, Brian, about that as it unfolds, equally important.
If I may add, Chair Robinson, Lou, I can't agree more. I think there are some good compromises. There are some losses within this. I do like the local accountability. I do like where we are with the pulling out writing. There are other areas, and a lot of the things that when we spoke to people in the House, it was all about cost. A lot of it was about cost. And what I was trying to get across to some of them, okay, we may have some short-term costs, but when we transfer over to a new model and we get to that third year, you're looking at about the same costs as what we have now. But that initial transfer from one system to another, when it comes, for example, I think as far as from the state accountability piece, one of the best parts about that was the adaptive piece with the opt-in interim assessments. One, because two of the biggest complaints that we have about our accountability model as it is getting back data. If we have interim assessments aligned with the form of the summative at the end, you're going to get real-time data. You can make decisions on instruction throughout the school year. And then two, the amount of testing. And so if you go to an interim assessment that we would supply, that would actually eliminate one window of testing for districts. So again, that part in itself to me was an important part. And I think there's still some momentum there, even within the House, and within the Senate. But we'll see how that goes moving forward. But again, we'll be lobbying and working hard to make sure that happens. If it gets to a point, I'll make sure that I keep the chair and vice chair up to date in our weekly calls, or I'm sorry, bi-weekly calls. And if there's at some point where we need to go a different direction, I understand.
Board members, we are at our allotted time, but I do want to say to the commissioner and all the staff, this is a time when we all need to be kind of fully informed on an ongoing basis, so that as we engage in our personal advocacy, we know what we're doing, we know where the vulnerabilities are. And so I would ask you to just think about how we might get that accomplished, so that we're informed advocates and on an ongoing basis. There are lots of there's a lot of conversation going on, not just in Frankfurt, certainly back in communities. And also, I do wonder the extent to which we want to keep the Cool Council members up to date on what is happening, because this represents a lot of hard work, and really crafting a model that we know we could implement, working with them was just, that's a major accomplishment in and of itself. To me, it represents a masterpiece. And so we want them to stay engaged as well.
One more thing, if I may add, I do emphasize even with our legislators that this is a launch. This is not exactly the moonshot itself. This is a launch, and it gets us in the direction. But we want to make sure that we don't overburden our districts with more and more and more, because we really haven't accomplished a whole lot. Again, our goal here is, in a perfect world, we have a Commonwealth full of Michelle Grosses that's doing vibrant learning across the state, that has teachers working together, that are lifting up kids. That's what our goal is. And so that being said, we got to make sure that I want to emphasize this is a launch. I do feel that it's on a positive trajectory. Otherwise, I wouldn't support it. And of course, I want to make sure that you're informed. I will say that I had some talking points put together with Cool, but that was before the last committee sub. And so what I'll do is I'll share some of those talking points that they actually wanted me to put in a column that talks about current KSA, the original 4.0, which I already had that. And then we're 257. So once this committee sub's completed, Lord willing, by Friday, I'll have that, and I'll get it out to board members that they can see.
Thank you. Thank you. Board members, I'm going to ask if there's anything else that we need to raise. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Steve Trimble, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Justin Pate, I'll second.
All right, thanking you for a very productive meeting. Glucosan, please call the roll for the vote.
Holly Bloodworth.
Holly Bloodworth, yes.
Harold McKinney.
Harold McKinney, yes.
Justin Pate.
Yes, ma'am.
Julie Pyle.
Julie Pyle, yes.
Randy Poe.
Yes.
Sharon Robinson.
Sharon Robinson, yes.
Lee Todd.
Lee Todd, yes.
Steve Trimble.
Steve Trimble, yes.
Lou Young.
Lou Young, yes.
Voting is complete.
I do thank you. I'll see you guys at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.